Now we have the chronometer with the basic structure, the basic HTML and CSS, and a small state that is just a JavaScript object. We are going to start coding the different methods, the start, stop, and reset method. Okay, let's code. This is our app, and the first thing that we are going to do is to remove the console log and to call a function that will be in this class, that is handle start click. This function, where do we create it? Inside the class, as any other method. Handle start click, and in the first place it is just, for example, a console log. Perfect. Let's check if it works. If we go to our interface, now the start calls that function. If we want to use the this object inside this function, I mean this dot state that we will use for sure, we have to bind it here, because if not we will get an error. So this dot handle start equals this handle start dot bind this. Perfect. Now we can access this. What should this function do? Well, it will have to start a timer at an interval. It's, for example, 100 milliseconds. So I want to keep also what the interval returns. Set interval, and what does the interval does? I create an arrow function and for now just a console log as always. Tick. Each 100 milliseconds, so 100. But what happens? That each time the user clicks on handle or on start, it will call this start click and it will create a new interval. We only want to do that the first time. That's why we created this running. That, sorry, for default, by default, it is not running, it is false. So if we check if the chronometer is not running, how do we do that? This dot state dot running, because it's a boolean. Now let's include all the set interval inside the if. Now only if the chronometer is not running, we set the interval. But what else do we need to do? We also have to change this running state to true. How do we do that? With the setState method. SetState method with running to true. What do we do? What is happening here? What do we have here? That when the user clicks on start, we can call handle start click. It comes here, and if the state says that it's not running, we set an interval each 100 milliseconds, and each 100 milliseconds we tick. In the future we will update the state, but now just a tick, a console log. And also we change the state saying that the chronometer is running. In case the user clicks again, this won't set another interval. Let's try and see if we have any kind of error. Look, the tick is just ticking and ticking and ticking. Perfect. We have this small improvement in our chronometer. How do we do the tick method? Well, let's create it. We create a tick, another method. As you can see, we can create as many methods as we want. Okay, let's get the millis that are in the state. Let's get the seconds also from the state. And let's get the minutes also from the state. And let's update the state. Set the state. What do we have to set? Well, the millis, the seconds, and the minutes. And how do we, this is just the same names, numbers that we have there. Let's increase millis in 1. So now millis are increasing, but we have to add another condition. If millis are 10, then millis will became 0, and seconds will be seconds plus 1. And what happens when seconds are 60? We get a minute. So millis 0, seconds 0, and minutes increasing 1. Let's check. Perfect. I think it's okay if we don't have any error. If we start, well, see here, the tick, we haven't called the real tick function that we have created. We just are console log tick. Let's call this function tick. Perfect. Now if we start, look, the start method is working. Let's continue with the next step.